question to ask you because, we're all trapped in online meetings these days. Is your spirit really showing? Are you showing up as your authentic self, your real self, truly able to serve your people? Because so many online meetings are just soulless. People don't know how to do them effectively, how to leverage the power of Zoom to really be of service. This is Elaine Starling. I'm the Abundance Ambassador, and I'm the host of the Abundance Journey podcast and video show. I'm really, really excited to have Gary Rogers join us today. Let me explain why. This guy knows his stuff. He's been a professional speaker for over 50 years. He's also a former executive in TV and motion pictures. He's produced TV commercials, infomercials, corporate videos. He's worked with all the big companies out there, AT&T, Motorola, Mitsubishi, Proctor & Gamble, Toyota, you name it. I mean, I'd take up the whole thing if I read his whole list. This guy is a mover and shaker. But what I love about Gary, he's taken his concepts that he's used for big corporations and he's made it accessible to entrepreneurs like you and me. He helps you take your product, your service, or your course and turn it into a six-figure income with just a webcam. I know, that's why I can't wait to talk to Gary. Gary, welcome to the Abundance Journey.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be with you. You have got excitement. I love it.
I love what I do, and I love getting to check in with awesome people like you. I mean, there's no greater way to connect with fabulous mentors than to check out podcasts. And I'm so blessed to have you join me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you're really passionate about this. You've been doing it for a really long time. So obviously you found this sweet spot that you just love, that you're passionate about. Why are you so passionate about helping entrepreneurs really show up effectively online?
Well, you've heard all your life, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's the business I'm in. Literally, in my old days, producing television commercials and working in the production industry, I had to get on airplanes and take up time and rental cars and hotels. If you had told me in my day, and I'm an old man, as you can see, that the day would come when I could get on a little device like this, a webcam, and reach anybody on the face of the earth that had an internet connection, just like they were sitting right here in my office, I would have thought you were on something and needed professional help. But that's where we are today. But unfortunately, most people really struggle when they get on a webcam, which is sad. It's the most powerful promotional tool, sales tool, and training tool I've ever seen in my life. And most people really don't have a clue how to use it properly.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Gary. And there's nothing more challenging when you're in a meeting and here you're so excited to learn from someone and they're so tied in knots over being on camera and how they come across. And they're so busy judging themselves that thinking that everybody else is judging them, that they can't really show up. And so we can't receive their brilliance. They aren't sharing as much brilliance as they could be. So obviously that's a big issue. Now we're talking about the abundance journey, but from my perspective, there's a gazillion different definitions of abundance. So given what you do and what you teach, how would you define abundance?
Oh boy, that's a broad question. Abundance.
I know.
Everything
I know the answer, but yeah, go ahead.
Everything I do, I try to provide abundance in the field that I'm in. Most people really struggle, as you just pointed out. They really struggle in communicating with people, especially if they're in a business where they're selling a product, a service, a course. And if it's on the internet, they really just don't know how to do it. And I help them in abundance with a webcam to bring their product, service, or course to life, literally. And the best promotional tool you have is your mouth. Literally, and people do struggle because they think they're being judged. And this is true in person as well as on a webcam. The number one fear that people have, most people on the face of the earth, the number one fear they have is public speaking. Now, you get them in front of a webcam and ask them to look into a webcam and be natural, and that even is more frightening for them. And my job is to try to take all of the skills that I can provide in abundance, if you will, and help people get up and off the ground and promote and build their businesses. The biggest single problem that my clients have is promoting themselves.
Yeah, Gary, it's really interesting. Part of why I'm so excited to interview you is because I see that part of the abundance that you create for people is you give them that clarity on what to say to really foster a relationship with a prospect and really communicate what they're doing. And once they have clarity on what to say, they can be much more confident and poised and calm and centered on camera. So they get out of their own way and they can get in flow with grace and ease. And when that happens, you forge such an amazing connection with your prospect. It's not like you're selling, and most of us are really leery of selling. Instead, you're being your true, authentic self, and you're making a profound spiritual connection with another person that you can serve. So that's how I see your abundance showing up. I know I reworded that a little bit for you, but
you use the word selling, and most people in our business don't like the word selling, but salespeople, good salespeople, simply help other people solve problems. They help people solve their problems, if you will. If they're good at what they do. I have been in production most of my corporate life. I've had the opportunity to direct a lot of Hollywood stars, including Academy Award-winning actor Charlton Heston. And I tell everybody, if I can direct Moses, I can sure direct them in helping them come across with a webcam. Now, most of my people really get frightened when they get in front of a webcam. In my paid courses, I literally take individuals like you, and I shouldn't say you because you're so good. You're so good at what you do. But I take ordinary people that have their own business and help them promote their product, their service, or their course by producing a promotional video with them as the spokesperson on camera. Put a lot of cutaway shots in, so it's not just a talking head. But most people say, oh, I could never do that. I just can't do that. And they all say that. But after time and working with them, every one of them can do it and do it. They surprise themselves. It's certainly intimidating and frightening in the beginning because they're not used to it. But like anything, you need to be trained and coached and helped.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the most powerful tool that anybody that owns a business can use if they apply it and use it properly.
So, Gary, could you give us an example of someone who was really terrified to get on camera and really nervous about what to say and how you were able to help them?
Oh, I've been doing this for 50 years, literally. I have had people literally break out and cry. Even a man, usually you hear about women crying, but a man just broke down in tears, crying, didn't think he could do it, and was so frightened and scared. That's sad. We talk about the number one fear. That's certainly true when you're speaking at a webcam. It's just such a sad thing for the majority of all people all throughout the world are so frightened about getting in front of other people, whether it's live or on a webcam like we're doing right now. It's such a sad thing because they're being held back and not able to use the talents and the abilities that they have. Anybody can do what we're doing.
Absolutely. The thing that gets me is I think that so often we get freaked out about, oh, but I'm having a bad hair day. Oh, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll stumble over my words, or maybe I'll mispronounce something, or I'll forget to say something. And we freak ourselves out unnecessarily. We get ourselves really amped up, and we're letting ego, worried about ourselves, get in the way of being able to deliver an authentic, genuine message that serves another person. And so your ability to help people relax and step out of the way, let ego get out of the way so that divine guidance can flow through, and they're articulate, they're succinct, they're compelling, they're excited and interested in the people they serve, that is incredibly profound, because that allows you to transition, to help people experience incredible transformations. And that's truly what we love to do, is help people experience those transformations. So there's a lot of questions. I find, correct me if I'm wrong, I find that in order for something in our external world to change, something has to change inside us. What do we have to be willing to shift inside so we can show up effectively on camera?
Well, great question. You mentioned earlier that people are afraid of being judged. Everybody's being judged as soon as you get yourself out there. That's typical. But you also mentioned about afraid of making a mistake. That is the very best way for anybody to learn anything. Making a mistake. I'm going to make mistakes in this little presentation. You may also, but people are not worried about the mistakes you made. They're worried. They're interested in what you can do for them. If you can help them, making a mistake, that's something that everybody does. Literally everybody. And people that are so afraid of making a mistake, they'll never get anywhere. They've got to get out and try and work and apply themselves if they want to succeed at anything.
It's so funny. I remember coming across some research that said speakers who get up on stage who are absolutely perfect, they don't get a good connection with the audience. And the audience doesn't respond to them very well. Someone who is natural and authentic and goofs up every once in a while, and they don't obsess over it, they just keep going. It's like, well, yeah, of course. I mispronounced that. Or, oh, I forgot to tell you. If you're willing to just be present and be authentic and be real, people will relate to you. They'll connect to you. They'll feel a commonality and a camaraderie with you that will empower them to purchase from you. But unless you're willing to just show up as who you are, you're not going to get that connection.
Absolutely true. I've got a student right now, as we speak. We just finished her promotional video last week. She's a beautiful woman that was born way back in, I think it was the late 50s or early 60s, when the drug thalidomide it was banned in this country. They never allowed it to come in, but she was born in Germany, and she was born with little teensy weensy arms, not usable arms at all. And she does everything in her life with her feet. She puts on her makeup with her feet. She gets dressed with her feet. She cooks with her feet. She drives a car with her feet. You talk about determination and being able to overcome adversity. We put her on video where the video actually shows her doing these things with her feet. Pictures worth 1,000 words. It is opening up doors for her, and people empathize with her immediately. Immediately, they're with her and empathize with her. You talk about being putting yourself out there. She's doing that. Got another lady that was from Cambodia. She was put in a forced labor camp. This was years ago when the Khmer Rouge communists took over Cambodia, and she got very deathly sick, and they transferred her to a death camp waiting to die. She made a dangerous escape and came to this country. You talk about putting yourself out there, and people just come to her they want her help. And how did you do this? How did you do this? How can you help me? She's natural. She's real. And we should all take advantage of what they're teaching us, being real ourselves.
That is so true, Gary. And you don't have to have that kind of an extreme experience in your life to have something really valuable to share with people. Being who you are is the biggest gift you could ever provide, ever. So Thank you for helping people come up and show up as truly real. Now, one of the challenges I find everybody has, right? We would so love to have the solution, the magic answer, just instantly, poof, now I'm brilliant on film and I look amazing on camera and I know exactly what to say all the time. Yeah, right. Not exactly how it happens, right? So obviously there are some baby steps that we need to take, that we're on the journey and we're getting better. So what is a baby step that we can look at that tells us we're on the right track?
Well, you can't walk without taking that first step. That's an old cliche, but it's so true. I mean, everything that we do is a learning experience, and we're gonna screw up. We're gonna make mistakes, and again, that's the best way to learn. And it depends on answering that question. Depends on what the field of work you're in. In my work, I need to work with individuals and getting in front of the camera, helping them in selling their product, their service, their course. That's part of my work as well, in selling, promotion, helping people get their course, their product, their service off the ground. And everybody needs help in any field. That's just part of life. I'm an old man. I've been around a long time. I retired about 13, 14 years ago. I sold my business, and that retirement lasted 2 weeks.
I was going to say, I'm sure I don't see that sticking.
I just got so sick of sitting around. I couldn't do this. And I didn't really know what to do with myself. And it was just then when this little device came on board, I thought, well, gosh, I can help people there. But nobody knew me. People told me I had to spend a lot of money on Google ads and Facebook ads to promote myself. And I did. I spent a ton of money over several years. I'd get a client here, a client there, but I was losing money. I wasn't making more than I was putting out. And I finally decided, even though I loved what I was doing, I've either got to go back to retirement or figure out a way to promote myself without spending an arm and a leg. And a friend of mine said, you ought to give elevator pitches in networking sessions. And I'd never heard of that before. He said, there are many, many networking groups where you can go for free and promote your product, your service, whatever you want to promote. Thought, well, that sounds good. I went to one of them and watched people giving an elevator pitch, and most of them were just struggling. They hadn't thought out what they wanted to say. They would just start and stop. They really needed help. I thought, my gosh, that's something I can help people with. But I struggled in the beginning with my field, not knowing how to promote my service. And it took some doing some things that I hadn't done before. That's just part of life. That's human nature.
Yeah. Gary, thank you so much for sharing that with us, because we look at gurus like you and we think, oh, yeah, well, it's easy for him. He's been doing it for 50 years. Well, things change. Technology changes. Opportunities change. People are people. And people really appreciate it when you show a certain level of commitment to helping them improve and helping them achieve their goals. And your willingness to step up and support people like us, we really, really appreciate it. So I want you to talk a little bit about the free gift you mentioned that you're going to make available to my audience. I'm going to put the link in the show notes so everybody can find it. But could you tell us a little bit about it?
You bet. I'd be happy to give a free webcam workshop to any one of your listeners or viewers, and they can go to the link above my head. If you're watching this, if you're listening to it, I think you'll be able to provide a link for them, companyflix.com/webcam workshop. This is a 90-minute workshop where I can promise you will have a lot of fun and you will learn some things that'll revolutionize whatever you do for the rest of your life using a webcam you never even dreamed possible. New things that will really get you excited. It's a fun workshop, and I promise that anyone that comes is going to learn some things that'll help them.
That's wonderful, Gary. I'm definitely going to sign up for one of your workshops. I can always improve how I use Zoom, the new techniques. There's so many new tools and stuff that come out all the time. I can't keep track of all of them. So I really appreciate it when I come across somebody like you who's an expert, who can guide me and advise me on things that are going to help me come across more effectively on camera. So thank you for doing that. Now, one of the things that makes the abundance journey a little bit different, we always turn the table on our guests. We love to support you. So if you could unmute real quick, I'd love to find out what our audience can do for you.
Well, just come to that workshop. Literally, we're going to have a lot of fun together. I don't want to scare anybody when I talk about something that's normally frightening. We're going to have a lot of fun together. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny. There's absolutely no obligation. But I love what I do. I love helping people. And it comes back to me in spades in one way or another. So the best thing you can do for me, just go up and register.
I'm going to up the ante just a little bit. I'm going to challenge everybody watching this or listening to this to bring 2 friends with you to the workshop. Why? Because they serve as accountability buddies. You can't back out. You've already made a commitment with your friends that you're going to be there. And remember that you're doing this not just for yourself, you're doing this for your audience. You're doing this for your clients. You're doing this for your prospects. Because when you show up fully, authentically, naturally, as yourself, and you're there to serve, you are magnetic. And people can't wait to get more of you. Gary, this has just been such a wonderful conversation. I cannot thank you enough.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You are an absolute pro. You are an absolute delight to work with. You made it easy for me. I loved working with you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. Well, I want everybody to stick around for a minute because I'm going to be activating abundance in just a second. Man, I love Gary Rogers. I love him. Not only does he have an awesome voice, he's just a wealth of knowledge. And did you feel that compassion come through? He believes in you so much more than you believe in you. And that comes through on camera. And if Gary can show up that real, that authentic when he's on camera, imagine what happens when you show up that way. It's a game changer. It's just a game changer. So I want to make sure that we activate abundance. And I'm going to take you through the 5 steps to activate abundance. Now, I want you to do this all the time. I want you to activate abundance in every conversation, after every meeting. All the time. This is how abundance starts to just explode in your life. Okay. So step 1, gratitude. You got to meet with somebody with over 50 years of incredible experience. This guy knows his stuff cold. He's forgotten stuff we never heard of. How often do you get to connect with that big a powerhouse who's obviously very caring and very generous and very heart-centered? He wants to support you, and he knows exactly what you need long before you know what you need. Isn't it wonderful to find someone who's holding a space for you? So all you have to do is step in. I'm really grateful that I got a chance to spend a few minutes with Gary because he rocks. That's step 1 is gratitude. Step 2 is acknowledge something he said that was a little bit of an aha moment for you. And I always take notes when my guests are talking. I know it's a little embarrassing, but they say so many good things. I don't want to miss anything. So one of the things that Gary said that just was like, bang, he said, everything is a learning experience. Everything is a learning experience. And, one of the things that I teach is everything's a blessing for you, especially the things that are big, scary, hairy, nasty. Oh my God, I have to be on camera? Are you kidding me? That's a huge blessing for you. Why? Because you are continually given an opportunity to expand and bring even more love to yourself and to your prospects and your clients. And when you show up as that loving being that you are and just bring your innate talents and gifts to the table, that's when everything opens up for you. So yeah, just accepting that everything is a learning experience. There is a blessing in this moment for me. And the faster I get into it, the faster I lean into the learning, the faster I absorb those blessings and everything opens up in my life. So I want to acknowledge step 2 is acknowledge that everything is a learning experience. Step 3, appreciate the difference it can make in my life. I'm going to tell you, when I view everything as a learning experience, I start asking smart questions. Instead of pretending that everything is happening to me, I realize everything is happening for me. Everything is there to empower me. So just as we were talking a little bit earlier about those speakers who screw up and say the wrong words, or, they mess up somehow, they form a bigger bond with their audience because they're real, they're natural, they're human beings. I'm sorry, perfection does not exist. Thank you very much. And when they're just comfortable with being who they are, they resonate with us. We can relate to them. We're comfortable with them. So understanding that I don't have to get wrapped around the axle over everything that's happened. I don't have to be critiquing myself and judging myself. The person who's hardest on me is me. Trust me, nobody else says the things that I say to me. I wouldn't let them live. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that this gives me the power to be empowered by everything that happens. Instead of viewing it as a judgment or something that inhibits me, it uplifts me and empowers me. That's pretty awesome. So step 1 is gratitude. Step 2 is acknowledge. Step 3 is appreciate. Step 4, activate. How we activate, there's 2 options. One option is you assign a trigger so that every time you're in this situation, you remember to take this action and you're triggered to take a specific action that empowers you. The other way you activate abundance is you get out your calendar, and I'm going to go to Gary's website and I'm going to look at when he's doing his free workshop, and I'm going to schedule that on my calendar because I know I'm going to get some tips. I'm on Zoom all the time, but I don't have time to keep up with the technology. I don't have time to learn about all the latest and greatest stuff. I want Gary's knowledge. So I'm definitely going to put it on my calendar and show up there. And step 5, celebrate your progress. You accessed an incredible luminary, an expert who can showcase you and your products and help you feel totally confident and clear and help you connect with your ideal prospect. It doesn't happen every day. To me, that's incredibly exciting and incredibly validating. Oh, this was a great session with Gary. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. Make sure you check out the next episode of The Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to The Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.